So good. Hello, everyone. So today we have this session where we're going to talk about AI, artificial intelligence, but specifically with African language. And today I have Doudou, who is a Senegalese entrepreneur, I can say, and CEO of OneNine. But Doudou, you have an amazing journey. To be honest, you went from learning hydraulic engineering in chess to doing a PhD in machine learning in Prague. Today you are working at Marx in Sweden. And while still building OneNine, that's quite amazing. Exactly. I mean, can you tell me more about that? That path and how you get there?
All right. Thank you very much, Moustapha, for hosting me. So my name is Doudou. I'm the CEO and co-founder of OneNine. So where we are building a data supply chain for AI. We would like to supply data to companies so they can train their models, make them smarter, especially focused on low-resource African languages. Today's AI understands 100 out of 7,000 languages, leaving 4 billion people behind the AI revolution. They are excluded because they don't speak English or they don't read or write. They are excluded from the AI revolution. And we are trying to solve that problem and make AI more inclusive and bring those 4 billion people in the market, So that's what we are building at OneNine. So you asked me about me and my journey, and you're right. I myself I kind of sometimes I ask myself questions, right? So I studied scientific field, at the high school at Lima Mulai, and I should say that since my younger age, I love to read everything. I was able to read a book per day. Any book, anything I saw. There was no entertainment. There was no internet wasn't this available. No TikTok, no WhatsApp, no we only had options, right? Either you go out, you play football with your boys, or you find ways to have fun, right?
True.
And for me, to find fun was to read books. So at a certain point of my journey in studying, I didn't know if I was more of a scientific guy or maybe a guy of literature or stuff like that, because I wasn't excellent in something. I wasn't bad in anything. I was just average in everything. So I was a guy that could have 15 everywhere rather than having 20 in math and 0 in writing or stuff like that. So at a certain point, I wanted to become a pilot, driving this. I was so amazed, fascinated. And also I wanted as well to do, to study law, study law or maybe philosophy, because I was open to everything, reading Descartes, reading everyone. So that's it. But then finally I ended up doing hydraulic engineering after my diploma, when I got the baccalaureate. So I went to Chess University where I studied hydraulics. So which was more of engineering, right? And I did enjoy it. It was more of foundational or of hydraulic or engineering, right? Where you studied the hydraulic pressure or how to mobilize water, how to send water from the source to the houses, water sanitation itself, Bernoulli laws and stuff like that, Navier stocks. So it was more of engineering, but you get the basis of math, physics, analytics, and so on. So after that, I did a lot of different stuff. I studied also geomatics, which is more of GIS and technology, satellite images, and this kind of stuff. Then I went to study a field called environmental modeling. So it was data science applied to environment.
All right.
So I've been always interested in solving real world problems, right? Doing a research and trying to understand the real world problems. And one day I was watching on TV or something, and I saw a guy, he was a geologist or something, and that guy was able to predict, when is the next eruption, when the volcano was going to erupt and cause damages, and that guy was able to predict that and take actions, right? So he can save people's life. And I was amazed. Wow, can we do that? Can we know the future? I was thinking that only God knows the future, right?
Yeah.
And that is true, right? But God gave us the, tools to know the future based on yesterday, what happens yesterday. And then, I studied environmental modeling. So it's data science applied to the environment, where we were forecasting, based on time series or historical data, if there will be flood tomorrow or no, or maybe in 50 years, what's the quantity of water that will be available. So it was more of like, looking at a phenomena, looking at saying like, what are the parameters that are linked to that phenomena? Then you build a relationship between those parameters. Then you have your mathematical equation. That's a model, and then you conceptualize it. You write a code that actually simulate that event. So starting from stochastic models and those deterministic and so on. Then went to machine learning, where it was more data driven. So I did different masters, right? I like to study to learn things, right? I did something in software engineering, especially because I wanted to be really good at encoding, right? I wasn't bad even after my baccalaureate. I was fine with informatics. I've been always curious with that.
Yeah.
But then I had a friend, he passed unfortunately, but we had like very good bonds, and we were doing some stuff, spending time in YouTube, while we were kids, and trying to hack our own Wi-Fi, using Backtrack 5 or AirCrack, this kind of stuff, just we were amazed by technology. And Steve Jobs at that time, he was like our guy, But then, after my master's, I went for a PhD. I wanted to deepen my knowledge in AI and everything, still in the same field. But, the thing is, when you apply AI, in a field, basically, to apply it anywhere, because the techniques and the tools is the same. Just the domain is changing, right? Yeah. So the one that is that has more expertise in a certain domain combined to AI, he's the guy, right? Yeah. That's so true. So my AI, I could just apply it anywhere. Especially, like for example, at Maersk, AP Moller Maersk, which is a logistics company, container logistics. I knew nothing about logistics, right? Yeah. I absolutely nothing. But when I joined Maersk, so I joined as automation specialist. So, it just came like this. I had to automate things, looking at people, what they're doing, looking at my colleagues or any projects, and trying to identify automation opportunities, trying to save time, effort, and cost and stuff like that. So this is how I started at Maersk and did a great job there, by the way. And today I'm operations research scientist, which is more of kind of optimizing the whole LNS business of AP Moller Maersk, trying to save them cost and time and a lot of effort. And by the way, I built a tool that actually went down the platform. When the platform, hosting the tool that I built went down for a couple of hours, they lost $50,000.
Whoa.
Yeah, really. So literally, I'm like, oh, okay. Then this tool is... There is something, but because you never really know the impact until something happens, right?
Yeah, true.
And I was kind of, proud of myself at a certain point.
I mean, you should.
Because okay, fine. Then that's what I do at Maersk. But at the same time, and always interested in research and how to understand real world problems, trying to make science move or, humanity move ahead. And now today we are doing entrepreneurship. Like I'm founding OneNine. And so all three are related, right?
Yeah, indeed.
So because in research, I try to understand the world.
Yeah.
And in entrepreneurship or founding, I try to solve the actual problem. So,
And in general, you learn to build a system that
exactly
today you can leverage.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's all related. I think, if you see today's United States, why they're really good at innovating is because they have a good research.
Yeah.
Like everybody is going to US to do research. So from research, from theories, AI was theory before it. Yeah. Today we have ChatGPT. Today everyone is generative AI images and stuff like that. It's really fun, Yeah. But the fundamentals.
It's a decades of
really,
research,
it's macula and piece and a lot of there was a lot and it was only theory, right? a lot of people even didn't believe in AI or like its capability. When I watched some videos from Steve Jobs back in the days, I'm kind of terrified. I'm like, this guy is just a visionary. How could he think like this? He was very ahead of humanity.
Yeah.
Like I watched one of his videos when he was saying, like he would like to ask questions to Sir Isaac Newton, but Isaac Newton can't answer, right?
Question,
But like he would be curious. Like he was thinking of a tool that one day, could impersonate Isaac Newton, and when you ask it to Isaac Newton a question, it would answer, right? And today it exists, and that's AI.
Yeah, we do have it now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's quite fascinating because, I mean, your journey couldn't be, I mean, say like as something that's, I don't know, usual, but it still kind of connect, the dots connect,
that's connected.
Went from data to the building OneNine.
Exactly.
And we'll talk about it even more, the part of data in what you are doing today. And like I was saying earlier, like even from your background, the fact that there was not that many stimulus in terms of information, so you turn to books.
Yeah.
That was quite the same for me.
Exactly.
I remember like when I was a kid, like we used to watch like television in black and white.
Yeah.
The mediums were one way, the information was going one way. There was no interactivity to it.
Yeah.
So today is quite fascinating, especially, me today at this day and age, to experiment AI.
Yeah.
Especially, talking to AI, talking to LML. That's just so crazy.
That's crazy.
Like,
insane.
And be able to talk to a piece of code, a machine, and them to understand me and answer me.
Yeah.
I think we take it for granted.
Unbelievable.
But that's incredible.
That's incredible.
And it get me like to ask, because I'm sure like there are some people that maybe will listen to us, like me, that are not necessarily expert in AI.
Yeah.
What do you mean when we say like an LML speaking a language?
Yeah.
As a system, what's the backbone of it,
Yeah.
What do we mean when we say, like this element is speaking French versus speaking Wolof?
Yeah.
Can you just, walk us through, the mechanism, making that possible before diving deeper into
like LLMs are, algorithms behind, right? It's just like there's an architecture called the transformers models, right? Before there are different type of models or architectures that they use, from convolutional neural networks, computer vision stuff, or LSTM, for time series and so on. LSTM, by the way, was used to build things like Siri, where you can activate. But today, like they have like transformers, which is kind of more robust because transformers has like structures like it can learn the patterns, and predict the next word, and today's AI, has like, I would say, like, when you're training models, like model is just like what you feed it with. You know what I mean? So the data that you use to train the models is what the models itself like as a result or as an output. That's what it outputs, right? Yeah. So if you take like today's AI and you put like 90% of the AI training data, is in English, right?
Yeah. Because most of the world's knowledge
world's knowledge that is available in the internet and everything when you scrap it is in English. So naturally, I don't know if you have ever tried it, but if you ask a question to ChatGPT in English and you take the same question exactly and you ask it in French, what is the output?
Different output.
Yeah, you get absolutely different because like it's more detailed, more concise, more like more precise in English than when you use it in French.
Because it has better.
It has better, more data, and absolutely more data in English than in French. And it's the same for the low-level languages like African languages, which are absent in the AI training data. And that's why today's AI understands only 100 out of 7,000 languages. So. And that's the problem we are trying to fix at OneNine.
That's quite crazy. Today if you take like, most of the like you were saying earlier, today we're talking about the AI hype, because we got to this point where it's a mainstream, we have these end user product like ChatGPT, where everybody can use, access code. Yeah. But there were like years and years of research, and there are way more participants in that whole value chain.
Absolutely.
Just in terms of example, let's say like the apps that people use, ChatGPT, Claude are here. Yeah. let's say, the foundational model,
Yes,
whether it's
exactly.
Anthropic, OpenAI, Gemini,
exactly.
they are here.
Yeah.
Where would we place OneNine in that value chain today
All right.
as a company?
Yeah, great question. Actually, I pretty like it. The thing is, there are three ways to work with AI today. Either you build LLMs, like you build any foundational model, or like ChatGPT, Gemini, or Anthropic, or Anthropic's Cloud, or maybe XAI, or so on. So there are a lot of models, right? Even Chinese models,
Like
DeepSeek and so on.
DeepSeek, Kimi.
So either you build an LLM, or you use an LLM to build agents, AI agents, like a specialized AI that does a specific task, that understands how to code and does only coding, like Lovable and,
Lovable,
Cursor and so on, Or maybe you build an app that does fintech, or that understands data or does data analysis. You actually speak English, and then it converts to a SQL code, and then queries a database and returns the results. Let's say you are asking to your database, hey, how many sales did we do last year? And then it's English from English SQL code, query the database, bring you back, and then translate it. So either you build the data agents, or the last option is you supply to the companies building AI, right?
Yeah.
And the best one that did that was NVIDIA.
Yeah, true.
With like supplying the GPUs. NVIDIA became so popular and so, well ranked that, by supplying what people need, right?
Yeah.
They supply what people need, what AI companies need. And so I'm thinking like even today, even if you are selling water, only water to AI companies, you become rich. You know what I mean?
True.
Because AI will be here in the rest of humanity.
That's
true. We cannot, I don't know in what form, again, it will be here, but AI will be here. And now there's nothing we can do anymore. It will be here until the end of the world. So AI needs, AI as a engine, what is most important for AI is the data.
Yeah.
Like what oil is to a car, data is to AI, right? So AI needs data to learn, to improve, to understand more the world, to understand, to have better context, and to perform better.
Yeah.
So that's why at OneNine we are like, hey, okay, today's AI doesn't understand my grandfather who's a farmer that could probably want to, he wants to know why his plants are dying, maybe, but my grandfather didn't go to school, right? He doesn't read or write, but he can talk. He can talk in his native language. And if you see today technological revolution, even something like WhatsApp, my grandfather can talk in WhatsApp. He can send voice notes, right?
Yeah.
Earlier, what happened is when someone wanted to talk to their family members that were abroad, they ask someone to write a letter, send it by post, and wait years before they get an answer. But today they just send a voice note.
On WhatsApp.
So doomu bàjjan dafa feebar envoyé xaalis bi. And that's all, right?
True.
They can do it. They don't need to go to school or to learn, because they understand their languages.
Yeah.
And those are scientific languages as well. My grandfather could have just taken an image of the crops and asked to AI, maybe in Polar, why his plants are dying or how to double his revenue.
True.
Lady having like their medical report, they can't read. They are obliged to reveal the medical secret, but by asking someone, a cousin or I don't know, a family member or relative to read for them.
Yeah.
Maybe what about their privacy?
Yeah.
I as a kid, I spent about 5 to 6 years to learn French, so I can understand maths or physics or chemistry.
True.
At the same time, the kids in China are already solving differential calculus or maybe building a computer or changing the world already.
Yeah.
So we are very far behind, and that also follows, the theories from Sheikh Anta Diop and the other people, that were really pushing for learning in your own languages, right? Because if it's your native language, if you understand it, right? And those are scientific languages.
Yeah.
Science and maths and physics, chemistry, they're not made in English or in French. No,
sure.
They're just science. It's knowledge, right? And anyone can acquire it in any language. So if imagine today, if AI could just explain math and physics and chemistry in Wolof or Pulaar or African languages, that would be so much easy. Maybe you would see a kid that would be done with his PhD at age 16 or 15.
Yeah,
really.
sure.
Because they don't need to spend all that time, because it's research, it's knowledge. You try to make the humanity understand more of the, to move forward, right, with research or science. So we are trying to solve that problem by supplying human label data to AI companies. So today's AI companies spend about 70 to 80% of their time in collecting and labeling data. We are trying to take that effort and the work, that FTE from them. So we will do the job, right, for them. So they don't have to worry. We will collect the data, process it, label it, and then deliver it production ready. So what they just need to do is pick our data and train the models. So that's the last 20% of the time that they will need to spend after we provide them the data. And we are highly focused on low resource languages, right? We don't do anything else. We are just focused on low resource languages, starting with African languages.
That's amazing. So you're really closing a gap that really exists today with this, when it comes to representativity.
Yeah.
In which is a big chunk of the world, if you are being honest, that are not necessarily natively speaking countries. Like the example that they gave, for instance, Senegal spend a lot of time, learning in French, and we have the same phenomenon whether you go to Southeast Asia, whether you go to other parts of Africa. So this is not a small problem.
Yeah.
It's actually a really big one.
Really big.
And I think the other day I was reading a stat going there is, 92 million, people, that speak Hausa, but ChatGPT can barely understand it.
Yeah.
And
It's crazy.
it get me wondering, is this a data problem? Is this a complexity problem in terms of, integrating this language? Or is it a bias, problem? What's your opinion on that, working in this topic particularly?
I think, first of all, maybe, it is true that there is no data. Or I wouldn't say there's no data, but the data is really scarce, for African languages. Those are low resource because we don't have, for instance, study materials in our languages.
There is
For
not
instance,
much blueprint of
exactly.
Data that you can actually use that's available online.
Exactly. The data that is available online is mostly Western. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And most of African countries, we had colonization.
Yeah.
We are using the language, as
colonizer
official
language.
language in those countries. And reason why our languages are not maybe used in the administrative stuff, in the government or in the hospital or anywhere. You are speaking the colonial language.
Yeah.
Unfortunate, but that's how it is. And most of African languages were also spoken.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not very written, right?
Yeah, the oral tradition.
Maybe there's a lot of improvement now today because a lot of our languages are being codified. You have a book, the grammar, and how to write it correctly and stuff like that. So there's a little improvement in that. But I think that's the first entry point. So the first problem is the data is scarce or not usable. Not in a form that it can be easily used. That's the first thing. The second thing is about, business as well. You know what I mean? So maybe today's technology or tools are made for someone.
Yeah. True.
That's unfortunate, but the world is like this,
Yeah.
When companies only looking for business, right?
That's true.
Where
That's
they
the
see,
the incentive is
where they
always,
see the money is, this is what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's about decisions or business decisions or political decisions or whatever. So if you see most of the tools that are made today, especially in AI, it's kind of for the Western world, I would say. If you see even ChatGPT or all this kind of stuff, they're US made, right?
Yeah,
Those are
true.
the tools from US. But what if there is a political decision that comes and, I don't know, maybe they can, manipulate the tools and,
Sure.
there's an election or whatever, you can ask it a question, hey, who do you vote for, stuff like that, There will be always a little bias, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So the owner always has his little touch in it. So
Yeah.
like that's the same. I mean, for the tool like for Elon Musk XAI and stuff like that, Grok is fine, right? It's trying to be very very Elon Musk. I think Grok, when you talk to a Grok, you feel Elon Musk in it, right?
Yeah.
Even though
Square,
they said like it was inspired by two people and stuff like that, but
there is always that that subjective part.
Yeah,
of it,
that it exists, right?
Yeah.
And so there is a little control in AI.
Yeah.
And that's also a bias. But if you look at AI today, it's culturally like more focusing, the beliefs and the cultures of the dudes that made the AI.
Yeah.
So today's AI doesn't really care or take account of in African culture or beliefs and stuff like that, or reality, And the thing is, what is true in a place can be wrong in somewhere. Like there are some words or some subjects that can be fine somewhere and taboo somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if we don't try integrate, make AI very inclusive. So I'm afraid we will not get to that AGI very fast.
Yeah, and it can deepen these this gap that we already have.
Yeah.
Between culture.
Exactly.
That's really interesting. And this problem, and I think that's a big problem. I think when you talk about codifying African languages, to have that to enable that usage. Like we're saying, there is the data. Most of the time, the data is at a format that you can necessarily use, that you cannot really exploit. So you realize this problem. At what moment did it happen that, this is actually the problem that I want to solve,
Yeah.
Is it like when you're realizing, I can actually predict the future with data?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or was it like when you were doing a PhD in machine learning, you're like, this technology is actually going really fast and maybe we didn't more represent on that. At what moment were you like, this is the problem that I need to solve?
Yeah. Yeah. Great question. I love this one particularly. The thing is, first of all, I'm a Pan-Africanist. I always works towards defending African culture, values, and Africa's place in the world, and especially in the tech world, right? So if Africa missed a lot of events, right?
Yeah.
So we missed the Industrial Revolution, the race to space, the technological revolution. We missed a lot of stuff, right?
We missed everything.
And today's AI era, right? Yeah. And we could not miss this one, right?
Yeah.
China got to make DeepSeek, right? And other models like Q. How to say it? America is still innovating. China is copying, and maybe Europe is said to be regulating.
That's what they do. That's what they do.
But they still have something, right? Like Mistral and those kind of initiatives. There are a couple of stuff, that's being done. Also, models like XLSTM and the team from Professor Sepp Hochreiter. Yeah. They're also doing great stuff in terms of time series prediction and so on. But I always thought, why can't we do something great, right? We all have the same brains. We all have the same capabilities to think or to do great stuff. Maybe environment define also the parameters or the conditions to get there, right? So I always thought, we need to do something, for Africa and by Africa. No one is going to come from somewhere and solve our problems, right? That was the same for instance, social media, right? I didn't just start with OneNine, right? Yeah. I had some stuff, some ideas, that maybe, I don't know, that I put on standby now. For now, I built the TikTok actually, for Africa. Nice. Made by African, actually, because I was like, okay, why TikTok is not paying the African creators, content creators? What's the reason? Why would they change location or go somewhere else just to get paid? I mean, it doesn't make sense, right? We need to respect more Africa and respect Africans, right? And I was like, okay, TikTok has it. China has TikTok and maybe America, they have their own, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and all of that. What is Africa? What about Africa? Are we just the users? And most of the TikTok users are actually the Africans, right?
Yeah,
we are dancing, we are making, and I'm like, oh, listen, we gotta make something for us by Africans. And I built Cable at a time that I right now made standby because I'm focusing on OneNine.
OneNine, yeah.
But later on, I will come back to it and finalize it. And finally, we will have our first, social networks, by African. And also that problem is, it's not just about, building a thing for us, but, what about the data sovereignty?
Yeah, there is
there's a lot of stuff, ongoing,
Yeah.
Why, China and US are fighting against, oh, we are banning TikTok today. Oh, no.
Because these are influence platforms,
Yes,
that
exactly,
kind of shape, the face of society in some type of way.
You get the power, right? You control it, right? You control people's mind, the algorithms and all of that,
Yeah.
You see the arts, you see what you want to see, what you don't want to see.
What they want, what they desire,
That's
what
the
they
thing,
expect
right?
in their life.
So, I was like, okay, we need to solve this. And that has always been my dream. I think, we got to do something. So that was the first thing. But also, when I started OneNine, it was more of consulting thing before, there were some Swedish companies, that I was doing consultancy services for. So they were making AI for healthcare, you know what I mean? So but in Swedish language.
Okay.
So I built some GTS for them, some models, in Swedish language, using some KB Whisper and those kind of stuff. But I've realized that while building that even, AI isn't even good in Swedish or those kind of languages.
Yeah.
Some like underserved languages are not only African languages. Even some European languages are really underserved, right? And I'm like, maybe this could be like really interesting to solve, So I was thinking of the best way to actually contribute to this AI revolution for Africans, right? I myself, I can't build an LLM. I cannot build it, And today's workaround, some companies making AI talk in African languages. The workaround is there's the LLM here. They build a module, a translation model, that when the user speaks Wolof or whatever the low-risk language is, it converts it to English, hits the model, gets a really good output, in English, converts it back to Wolof, So that's the workaround,
Yeah,
it still works, but it's fine. It's biased.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, a lot of cost.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because you're paying twice, right? You pay to use the LLM and then you pay to use the TTF. So it's not for everyone. You could sell that to some enterprise level, but to that mayor who gets a chaff, you can't really sell that product, right? They would
because
love
the context matter.
Exactly.
Actually, to get a good output from
exactly
the models.
That's the thing. So that's what's happening, and I'm like, maybe. And also like there was a Scale AI, that was also bought by Meta, for I don't know 29 billion or something. And I'm like, hey, look, this is the business. Nvidia is making a lot of money by supplying to AI. If Scale AI wasn't important, Meta would never buy them, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm like, okay, what about we supply data, to AI companies, but in low risks, right? At the same time, we are solving a problem because I'm mission driven. I really want to make AI more inclusive and support more African languages. At the same time, it's a great business, right? Because
true.
You are supporting AI companies. Because right now they need speed, right? They need speed because they are all racing for AGI. They all want to be there first to be the market leader. So they need speed. They don't have time to spend like 70% of their time in data collection and labeling, right?
Yeah.
So you need to supply them. You need to push them. And also the web is exhausted.
Yeah, true.
They use all the data that exists to train models.
Yeah.
So AI is not really very much improving, right?
Yeah, true.
Because what they do is generate data from AI to train AI.
Yeah,
which is not very efficient.
Yeah.
Like it leads to bias and models hallucination. I'm like, okay, look, we're gonna build the new data, create new human label data, but we're gonna focus on African languages. because AI is missing knowledge a lot. And if they want to get AGI, they can't do it without adding in, the African languages or the low result languages, because language is not just something we speak.
Yeah.
There is knowledge hidden behind a language, right?
Yeah.
There's a knowledge hidden. There's a culture. There's a history hidden behind a language, a word. There's some word or something that you can only say in your language that you cannot say in some other language, right?
Yeah.
So there is always a context and there is a history. So AI lacks data, African data. AI lacks African knowledge and culture, and we are trying to bring it all together and make AI really, really understand the other people. That AI should matter.
Great. And I think like the problem selection is really interesting. When you walk us through, how you get, from that idea, you saw the opportunity, behind it and what's possible to do with it. And, today I remember like the first time, that I saw OneNine.
Yeah.
I saw the website. I know the website, one of the first things that I saw was like, we built the data supply chain for AI.
Exactly.
Like that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because the first thing that hit my mind is like, I see a lot of, product,
exactly.
on a daily basis and when they pitch.
Yeah.
And most of the things that we build on AI today is like how can I say it, at the tail end, on the consumer facing,
Exactly.
especially here.
Yeah.
Because for many reasons, we don't necessarily have, people building foundational models or building, critical piece of infra.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's interesting because I think this is the first one that I see like, you are building at the infra level.
Exactly. Exactly.
You are not just building at the tail end of the consumer side.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's interesting. If today your mission is to, be that supply chain, that data supply chain for AI, how does it work? Can you break it down for us, for the people that don't expect? What do you mean when you say, we'll supply the data,
all right,
to this model to actually work?
Yeah. So you can compare OneNine to an oil manufacturing company, or maybe gold manufacturing, gold mining, right? Yeah. So those companies, they go and mine the gold or the oil, right?
Yeah.
After they bring it to a factory where they are processing it and refining it to be, the diesel or I don't know what kind of oil, the oil that will be used, the fuel that will be used by cars, or the gold that has been done for jewelry and stuff like that. So it will be more expensive at the end. Yeah. So that's what we are doing at OneNine. So we are going deep, collecting the data or creating the data. We have contributors joining our platform, helping us annotate, translate, transcribe, create, record voice, create new data, create new content, And once that is done, we have like our automation pipeline that processes that. It does 70% of the job. And then we have linguists at the end that will help us review. Like linguists are experts, right? We got people, for instance, from the University of Dakar, like Glad. Yeah. So they're helping us, joining the platform, and reviewing actually what our automation pipeline has done, with all the segmentation and the automatic labeling that has been done and the missions from the contributors. So they are double checking everything before, when it's good, we are submitting it for tokenization and all of that. Yeah. So OneNine, we are mining, we process, we pack it like language packs and what it is, production ready, it's ready, we put it in bottles and then we sell it, we distribute it to the AI companies, right? Mostly like we are targeting the AI chair labs, right? Yeah. OpenAI, Google, Meta, and so on. Those are really, really, really our main target. Yeah. If you look today, like companies like YouTube, or Netflix, they have a lot of videos online available, but it's not transcribed. Most of them, they're not transcribed. Like people do not understand them, right? If Netflix would like to make his movies, available in, Niger languages, right? Igbo or this kind of, they could just reach out to us, because we have the pipeline, we have it ready, we have our own data as well, and we could make it simply available for them, transcribe all the Netflix movies in all those languages. So we would make it much more easier for Netflix, for instance, and YouTube, right? Our automation pipeline does it already easily, very fast. Like any YouTube video or any link, we transcribe it automatically, do the review, and then submit it. So that's what we're doing. So we would like to partner with all those companies, right? And it's a win-win, right?
Yeah.
It's a win-win. We are saving them time, and we are bringing them more customers.
Yeah, and you have the cultural advantage. You know the continent.
Absolutely. I know the continent.
Exactly.
And our contributors, we have a network that is spread. Today already we about 165 plus, contributors joining our platform in language, and across East, South, and West Africa. For now. And we're pretty proud of that. We are really quick in that, right? We're really quick in delivering, and most of all. After all, like, we are really mission driven, right?
Yeah.
We understand this problem more than anyone else because we are living it.
Yeah, and that's amazing, because talking about how your process work. If I'm not mistaken, that's your one factory, your OneNine factory pipeline.
Exactly. Yeah.
With the different participants.
Exactly.
Where is the auditor?
Exactly.
The language.
Yeah.
Etc. So that at the end of it, you have that ready to use data, that you can provide to these to these models company, to build whatever that they are trying to build. And for culture, earlier you were talking about about we don't have much digital footprint, when it comes to data. How do you guys work around that challenge here? Like, where do you collect that data? How do you collect it? Just on ground, what does that process look like?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because as I understand, you get the different participants, the different geographical representation, from this part, and just get us more about
Absolutely. Absolutely. The thing is, everything happens in our platform.
Yeah,
like everything. We don't leave the platform, right? Contributors, they are joining the platform. And they find missions, right? And by the way, contributors are paid, right? They are paid to do the job, right? So
that's a call for contributors.
At the same time, we are actually giving job to people, right?
Yeah.
Job. Like, contributors are not necessarily very professional in the language. We just need native speakers, right? Yeah. That's what we need for contributors, which is different from our linguists, those are the experts that are gonna review everything and our major partners. But then we need more data. We need new data. AI needs new data. So that's where we need the contributors, to bring in more data. So contributors join the platform, they find missions, right? Let's say it's a $10 mission or a $5 mission, with 30 minutes, where we ask, okay, translate this from French to Wolof, for instance. So a contributor that knows the French language and Wolof language at the same time would just take the mission, complete the mission, and get paid. The same as for transcription task, it's already segmented and everything. They just gotta listen to segments and write it down. Write down what they are hearing. That's what they do. Or image annotation, they can see an image of a cat and then write, this is a cat, in African languages or whatever, and so on and so on. So parallelization or corpus, whatever, that's what they do, right? They also add in new data, by just recording their voices. For instance, let's say we have a theme, like let's say the context is agriculture, and we would like, we want two people having a conversation about this and this and that, in agriculture, a farmer and someone, we want you to record it. So two people can come, share that mission, record their voices, and that voices will be used, transcribed, and then translated and so on. So, this is how we're creating data.
Yeah.
That's why we need contributors. We need more people. Because we need to create new data.
Yeah, and the context is really interesting. Like when you talked about this thing. For instance, like you a group like in the village, my grandparents. Are farmers. Like the first work that I did was going to the field, like to the crops or whatever.
Yeah.
But just that experience, poor people, local people talking about that experience, what it like, preparing the field, before putting up the crop.
Exactly.
How that day to day going on. It's that context that you are bringing today to your process on top of the engineering and the...
Yeah. It depends, for instance, on our customers as well, because apart from AI chair labs, we are also targeting like AI companies, whatever. For instance, 11 Labs, those could be our collaborators, or maybe, companies like local companies, for instance, in Senegal,
Yeah.
we got a lot of companies like L'Africa Mobile,
Yeah.
or maybe Bamtu, Andakia, and so on. So we would like all them to become our main partners, right? Because all of them, they need data. They need to train their models, they need to serve their customers, right?
Yeah.
And what we are trying to do is providing the data they need so they can train their models, make better models,
Yeah.
quality, and at the speed. Because it's about business.
Yeah.
Business is time. You know what I mean? So you need to deliver to your customers the fastest, right? You don't wanna wait for data collection like for a year or 6 months, in order to be able to train your models, which is
Yeah.
just 20% of the time, right?
Yeah.
So what if you have already data package available somewhere that you can just come and purchase, right? Or maybe you can order it. Because also we do custom services, right? They could come and say, we want a custom labeling, or we want, this term, agriculture, give us a data, 500 hours, of Wolof, or we want Bambara, 1,000 hours. We want Swahili, and so on. So they just come and find production-ready data set that they could purchase. For instance, we got our API, OneNine API actually, that they could just access in their terminal, query, post. You just curl, post, and then you write the code. You can query if it is a STT, speech to text, the limit, how many sentences you want.
Just set the
you query
parameters
it, and the data is there.
Oh.
You use it to train your models directly. Or maybe if you want a translation or transcription, audio, we got everything covered.
So you abstract all the complexity.
Exactly.
And just like...
And the thing is, right, we have a full pipeline and we have it fully traceable, right? We have consent, because also this is something that really matters for us, like consent and traceability, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't want to be selling like synthetic data to our customers.
Yeah.
Our core is to provide quality data in human label data.
Yeah.
So there's human loop in the pipeline for sure. And we want also those people that are doing that job to be very well paid.
Yeah.
They should be happy to be committed to do quality job. That's what we want, right?
Sure.
So we want them to do quality job, so we will pay them fair. We don't care about making a lot of money, right? We are mission driven, right?
Yeah.
Even if for our investors it might be. Don't worry, we will be $1 billion company in 5 years.
The money will come at some
The money
point.
will come, right? When we will scale. But what I mean is, we want to pay our contributors enough. And so they are committed to do quality job.
Yeah.
Because we are, today, I think in our niche, we are the only one doing this.
Yeah, sure.
Some people try to copy us, by the way, but it won't work.
That's a good signal.
It's a good signal.
That's a good signal.
And I gotta tell you, actually, since I've started building, this is the first time that I see a lot of attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is where you understand, like, things working. You know what I mean? I've built a couple of stuff, but when I'm pitching it to people, talk about it, people are like, oh yeah, interesting. Yeah, good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when people are interested in what you're doing, you know it.
It resonates.
You know what I mean? You know it, right?
Yeah.
Before I was running for investors, right? I was looking for people, but today it's just like people are coming to me, without even me knowing them. You know what I mean? So that's really good. That's a good signal,
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that, so it means maybe I'm solving a real world problem, like something that is really valuable. And if I compare it today to today's AI companies, right? I always said it, and I said it even like year ago, companies building like the startup that are agent based, agent startups.
Yeah.
I think they can boom fast. They can make a lot of quick money, but they will die super fast.
I mean, we can see it now.
Exactly.
From last year, most of the
Yeah.
the hype around, agents and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at a certain point, we need critical infrastructure.
Exactly.
For longevity.
That's it. That's it. Because, if your setup is quick, I mean, easy to do, right? Anyone can build an AI agent that does something, right? Coding or whatever. You just need a tech stack here.
Yeah.
Data here, model context protocol, and they say, hey, use this tech stack and build this stuff. You know, it's pretty easy, right? But it will die when AI provider, because you didn't build the LLM, you are just using it. You use the API to do something.
Yeah, that's right.
So what if the AI
Yeah.
the AI provider decides to have your features natively? Like no one.
That's what happened.
That's what happened a couple of weeks ago.
OpenAI.
That's what happened exactly. And I said this like long ago, and today we are seeing the same. You know.
That's true.
You know, there is always defensibility. There's always things we can talk, but otherwise, it's fine. You know.
Yeah.
Coming back to OneNine, like that's a good signal that when you are a founder, that you spend a lot of time in building something. Sometimes I was like, sometimes you can even like start doubting on yourself.
Yeah.
It's super hard, when alone you stay in your room for weeks. You don't take calls, you don't talk to anyone, you don't have time, you don't even think of eating, you forget about eating. You just build.
Just that obsession.
And then you got an obsession. Oh yeah, this feature I need to add it. And then at the end you lunch, and you kind of get disappointment.
Yeah, sure.
It's super hard. I think it's the hardest feeling to have. But when things start to work, you know it a little bit. You start to understand. Oh yeah, something is happening, because when you start pitching, people are listening to you.
Yeah.
So you're like, this is interesting. Then keep going. People started to copy us. It's not the same thing. We don't have the same philosophy. We don't. And the technical experts. There's a lot. We are mission driven. So it's different, right?
Yeah.
People can always try, but
No, that's great, and it brings me to my other question, which is like, today you did your PhD, you are working at Myers, and on the same in parallel you are building OneNine.
Yeah.
And the question is like, how are you not burned out? Like, it's a lot. It's a lot, to do at the same time.
Yeah.
And also, you are building, like, you are based in Sweden.
Yeah.
You are building for a product, where I would say like a lot of the primary resources, come from Africa.
Yeah.
How are you dealing with all these dynamics? How do you make it work?
And golf.
And doing golf, like how?
It's crazy. I think I taught myself to do that. You know what I mean? So I think it depends, right? Everyone has their own lifestyle, or how they would like to build to live. You know what I mean? For some people, what matters more, maybe after 8 hours of work, they like to go home, take some snacks and put Netflix and they can enjoy it, right? Yeah. It's fine, everyone has something. For some other people, they would go to the bar, watch some football and have some beer or whatever, Some people can do something else. Yeah. But I myself, at a certain point, I was like, hey, look, I'm one person, right? And I want to do a lot of stuff in the short life, I think if I would like to do everything that I want, I would need like 100 lives or stuff like that. So that is not possible. So in the short life that I have, I'll try to organize it, so that while I can do it right now, that I'm young and, energy and everything, I'll try to do it. So I'm following my rule, my own rule that I created. Now, I don't know if I invented it, but, it's the rule that I follow. So I'm like, okay, the day is 24 hours.
Yeah.
So I split it by 3.
Yeah.
8 times 3 is 24. The first 8 hours is for my full-time job at Maersk. Focus, do the job, right? Do what I have to do. After that, I'm focusing on building my stuff. Yeah. The other 8 hours, I build OneNine. I also take time for my PhD, That is already done, right? I just have to finish. I get my papers accepted so I can defend it. So I'm released now from the PhD, which is really good. And I spend the other 8 hours, sometimes 10, focusing on OneNine, Apart from that, I always try to find like, especially in the summer, like 2 hours golfing every single day, from work, go golfing, Golf is also really good because connecting you to the nature and, the environment, you go outside, you talk to other people, and golf is challenging, I like the challenge at golf, you hit the ball. Sometimes you miss 100 balls,
Yeah.
but when you hit that ball that will be like, that will give you the best feeling in the
Yeah.
world. You're like, I'm the best, I'm Tiger Woods and stuff like that. You want to come back to live the same experience again.
Yeah.
That might not happen soon. So that's why I love playing golf.
Yeah.
So yeah, apart from that, I have family, family life, need to give them time and, call family here and there. It's really important also. But, it's hard. It's not easy.
Yeah,
but
it's not,
what I always try to do is telling myself, hey, look, you got to do it now so that later you don't,
later you can.
yeah, you can enjoy all of that, right? I would love, my kids or my family, later on, they would see an empire that, that I've built, that they can,
Yeah.
that's my goal, right? I, like, honestly, and I'm very serious about it. Like, I think I'm going to do more than Elon Musk.
I mean, and that's impressive, and I believe you will. Like it's crazy, like, because this question, because we always have this question, and I mean, you and I, we spent a bit time, last week and talking about, even this new movement or how we can attract, the
Exactly.
people, in the diaspora, building solution, from here or for the people here. And that's interesting, like looking at OneNine, looking at your team, like it's you in Sweden. I think you have like one other in Czech Republic,
David,
one in
my
Uganda,
co-founder. Yes,
another one
exactly.
in New York.
Yeah.
So do you think is it like a new model, for of African builders,
Yeah.
just builders,
Yeah.
from African heritage,
Yeah.
that we are seeing more and more of it?
Yeah.
Was this like more of a, I don't know, something that just happened? You work with these people, or it was something that's more deliberate? To have this distributed team.
Yeah.
All of you, I think most of them, African, like working based there, you're building a problem here.
Yeah.
Do you see this thing,
Yeah.
do you think that's something that we'll see more and more? Or do you think it's just something random or happened,
No, actually, most of the stuff happened naturally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some happened randomly, but very, how to call it? Thanks God it happened randomly. For instance, my co-founder David, we know each other from long ago, and we actually met at the golf course in Czech Republic. We were playing golf. The guy saw, he came and saw me struggling, hitting the ball. And he was like, "You suck at golf," And we started, he helping me play golf, and then we had bonds from there, Starting from there, we are playing every Sunday, playing tournaments together, and talking about technologies and having projects, about tech together. So when I decided to build my company, I first thought of him because, he's really good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also, it's also about mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah. I call him bro. We call ourselves bro, and we say, very stupid stuff, but, we understand each other. Like, he understands where I want to go, the vision, and he's supporting that. I have many other friends, right? Yeah. They're really good in what they're doing as well. But the thing is, I need someone like that understands the problem we are solving, and that is really ready for that.
Yeah, because care about the problem.
Exactly, care about it, and really is dedicated to do so. And I never found a guy that is more dedicated than this guy. He supported from the very beginning. I have other friends that are really good in what they're doing, but probably they wouldn't have the same motivation as you. For instance, you thought about the time we spend, maybe burnout and stuff like that. I got some friends that would never do that. They don't really want to be founders. Yeah. They are fine if they go and be paid a salary. Yeah. They go home and enjoy with their family, and they're right.
That's fine.
They're absolutely right. They're fine. But this guy is crazy as me. He would spend also like his evening and his weekends building. Yeah. So that we understand each other. So he was the first, and then we got Robert. So Robert, he's from, and by the way, David or Duke, he's from Vietnam, but he's he's a Czech. He's Czech, right? But his origins are Vietnamese. Nice. And me, Senegalese, and So Robert is based in Uganda. Actually, he was put through by a friend, that is based in a friend, a Senegalese friend that is in New York or somewhere. Like, she just reached out and told me, hey, I know a guy that looks exactly like you, or way of thinking and everything. You gotta meet him. And I was like, oh, okay, fine, let's meet. You know, the guy scheduled a call with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, here we go again. Okay, let's just have a call. But when we talked, the guy, the energy, you know, and what he's saying, it really attracted me. It was just like, I was looking for this guy. You know, I was really, really looking for him. And he's in Uganda, he's based in there. We talked and I was like, okay, I talked to my co-founder and I was like, okay, look, let's have him in the team, right? We invited him to join in the team. No equity yet. We don't give easily equity like that, right? We have him in the team. And then we probably were thinking of giving him like maybe a team member equity or stuff like that. But then later on, we had a new project, you know, our customer coming for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, they need speed, they need something to be delivered in 2 weeks, you know. And then we were like, okay, we need to go fast. Yeah. And Robert, he was able to get over 100 plus contributors, put them in our platform in just like within a week. Wow. That guy is great. And then we had like a gathering, you know, a community, you know, we have it in Discord, a channel and everything where we have a call. And it was so good how he's handling and managing the people. He's really good. Yeah. And then we decided to, you know, to have him, you know, join us, you know, as a co-founder. Yeah, which is really good, right? So, you know, we have a larger team, you know, than those 3 people. But yeah, we will surely, you know, and further we go, you know, because those are right now the most focusing people in co-founding, building the thing. But later on, all of those people, you know, that haven't taken really part will be part of the deal. At the stage we need it, right? Because right now we are still on the foundations. We are building. We are talking to customers. We are looking for investors and stuff like that. We cannot really hire people, right? We cannot really, but we need those people, right? Yeah. They are our team members, and there are a lot of people that are supporting in the background. We don't know, and they don't also want their name to be mentioned, but they are really good guys.
Yeah. It takes a whole village. Like
yes, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
That's great. Like now, let's talk about money. You know, in a way.
Serious thing.
Because money is important. You know, I think, and you guys identify a really big problem. You know, and a really big opportunity. You know, to create value from this problem. Yeah. And you need a lot of money to make it happen. Yeah. Which is just, you know, the state of things. Yeah. Especially with AI. And I think, you know, that's quite a nice paradigm of AI, you know, when I compare it to other traditional technologies. Yeah. In AI, when you succeed, you spend way more money. You know? Yeah. In farming technologies, you know, like the present technology, they were different, you know. Yeah. The more you scale, the more your costs go down.
Exactly.
Yeah. In AI, that's quite the opposite.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
More money. If people like what you have built and they use it, the inference costs will just start to rack up. Yeah. So money-wise, I think, you know, you with OneNine, you guys are doing amazing work, you know, great achievement, you know, so far. Last week, you literally won the AI competition.
Yeah, exactly. Africa. Absolutely.
And so you pitch it, you know, to many investors so far.
Exactly, yeah.
For you, what would you say that is the thing that the investors don't understand about OneNine yet? You know, the people that are still like, yeah, we like the product, you know, but dilly-dally, you know, hesitating to sign that check. Yeah, yeah. What's that one thing, you know, that they're missing?
All right. All right. Maybe, you know, investors might be a little skeptical, you know, about OneNine. Some considering it maybe as a BPO, you know. Yeah. Maybe they think we can't sell to AR Chair Labs. Yeah. Some might think, oh yeah, they will be just selling with to their small AI companies, you know, or stuff like that, you know. They think, you know, sometimes with our business model where we have to pay the contributors as well, that we're not going to earn there won't be a big margin. You know, those are the questions, right? Yeah. And it's natural, it's normal, and we give it to them, right? So the thing is, right, what we're looking for is really investors that trust us, that have the same belief like us, right? What we are trying to solve is a very big problem. Yeah. You know, it's a very huge problem. Yeah. And like there is the future of AI, you know, is in our hands. Yeah. Because like we are trying to push for the AGI actually.
Yeah, like you are saying, there is no data left. People are exploring synthetic
exactly.
data and all of these
Exactly,
maneuvers.
they're trying everything they can,
Yeah.
you know, to get AGI, right? They are getting new data, synthetic data, or whatever, or maybe trying to explore new techniques or the models.
People saying maybe LLMs are not necessarily,
exactly
the best way to get there. Yeah.
So they're trying everything they can, and my belief is, we will not get AGI without including the true real world knowledge, without being inclusive. So that's the thing. That's the key. And that's the problem we are trying to solve. We are really trying to make AI smarter and more inclusive, gathering the knowledge that is not yet in the AI to AI. So that's really what we are trying to do. And I think, and it is reasonable, right? We will be, in 5 years, exactly, and I'm being realistic, you can save this moment, save this snap, for later on. You can bring it out and say, oh yeah, this guy predicted the future. But like, we will be $1 billion company. That, no doubt. Yeah. Being realistic, right? Right now, we might be burning more than we will be earning. That's sure, right? And it's fine, right? Yeah. Pre-seed, seed, until we get to Series A, it's fine. We will be burning more because we might be getting like some small project and stuff like that. But the thing that will, the point that where it will turn and everything will be, the curve will be reversed, where we will get to the point, where everything will explode, is when we get those partnerships with our big labs, right? If you get Google, Meta, OpenAI, YouTube, Netflix, all those guys, like requesting our services, we will be very huge at that time, and this will be a great moment where, the thing is, there are many types of investors, right? Some investors will be like, oh yeah, they will wait. They will always wait for they will wait later. Don't want to take the risk, what I mean? They don't want to take the risk, and I accept it for them, right? But even, I like to say that right now, it's good that we get investors, right? It's really good. We want capital to work, right? But we also choosing the investors as the investors are choosing to work with us. Yeah. Right? That's the thing, right? If investors have money and they don't really believe in what we are doing, we don't, like, it's fine, right? We believe in this. We believe that it will happen and we will make it happen. Yeah. There are too many stuff that were more unbelievable, more crazy, that no one believed it would work. Yeah. How about Bitcoin? Yeah. Let's talk about it. Imagine like if people bought Bitcoin at the very beginning. Yeah. Today they would be billionaires, right? Yeah, true. But no one cared. Oh yeah, it won't work and stuff like that. But today everybody wants the Bitcoin, right? Because everything is clear in hindsight. Exactly. Exactly. The moment it's, sometimes people don't know, right? Yeah. Investors sometimes they check the data and try to see. Oh yeah, maybe Africa is not yet mature for AI and this kind of blah blah blah. It's just that. I think that's a good thing. I think that's really the innovative challenge. Yeah. Where you at a point where like, oh, okay, this is the version of the world that I think actually should exist, Exactly. That I know how to make it happen. Yeah. And I will make it happen. Yeah. Now you can have some people, rolling around that fart and sometimes not necessarily, but at the end of the day, if you just need, to have these people, these few people that just believe in it and you can push it forward. Exactly. Earlier you were talking about, your 5 years plan, of success. Yeah. And, we since the beginning of the discussion, we talk about, the local context, my grandfather, not being able like to read and write and be able to use AI. And, last time I was really seeing like a quote that you had on the website, that goes like something, I'm paraphrasing. Yeah. And it goes like, there are many people, that cannot read and write, but can actually, talk their language. And what we want today is AI to understand these people. Yeah. And I was like, that's actually a really interesting promise. And the question I want to ask is like, paint me a picture for that person, that can read, that can write. And today, OneNine make it happen that AI can understand them. What their life will look like. Oh,
You know, what will it unlock in education,
Oh,
in
oh my
healthcare,
God. Oh my
in
God.
commerce? You
Oh
know,
my God. Yeah.
what's that world that you actually believe will happen, and in 5 years, oh, okay, that he was actually right.
Absolutely.
You know what that person life, what will look like.
Whenever, when you have an idea and you were pushing for it, if you don't have people thinking that, oh yeah, you were crazy or this is not going to
Yeah.
work, then you're not on the good track.
Yeah.
When you have people challenging you or thinking that you're crazy or this might not work or stuff like that, you are most likely in the good path, in the right path.
True.
So, believing that AI would work as it is working today was just crazy. No one would think that it would be like that. But it's happening right now. AI is happening today. It will remain here. So I do believe, at a certain point, if we democratize AI, if we make AI very accessible to anyone, people will be much more skilled. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People don't need to, spend a lot of time at school to be a billionaire or something. You know what I mean? Because knowledge has never been accessible as it is today.
Yeah.
Whatever you would like to know, before what you were doing, like in the internet, you go Google and you type in to understand things.
Yeah.
But today AI is here. AI is able to browse. AI has the content. AI has a lot of knowledge. It can explain to you, Navier-Stokes or any kind of equations, any algorithms, anything that you were doubting about. AI can be your best friend, your best partner. You can if you have a pain, if you would like to talk to someone, AI can be here for you, right? That's what I believe, right?
Yeah.
If we can make AI talk African languages or native languages, kids that would spend, a lot of time in learning a foreign language in order to understand math or physics, they would not spend that time anymore, right?
Yeah.
We will change entirely the curriculum for schooling curriculum, like where there is from CI to CM2, then you go from CM2 to what do you call it, like you go to high school, junior, and then you go to the university. That curriculum will absolutely be reduced, to a very shorter time. People wouldn't need to spend
that much. We've been talking about solving, bringing this African context, to this LLM, to these AI apps, and I want to do this exercise with you where paint me the picture. OneNine, you have this plan, in 5 years. Let's say OneNine succeed, for my grandfather, living in a small village in Kaulak.
Exactly.
What does his life look like?
All right.
What's the impact of that work? What does it unlock in education, in
Absolutely.
healthcare, in commerce? On the day-to-day life of that African. Absolutely. You are solving that problem.
Absolutely. But imagine, if the lady with a medical report doesn't need anyone anymore to understand the medical report. She can understand it with AI. AI will be the best partner of that person. It's just like a human assisted by AI, right? Yeah. They can understand a medical report. They just have to put it through AI and understand in their native language. They can ask, hey, sama rapport médical bi, lu muy lak, lan la wax, comprendre mo ko. And what's crazy is you don't even need to know medical stuff or being a doctor to interpret it, right? Today's AI, AI has been like the world's top doctors. Yeah. You know what I mean? Sure. It's really, really, really smart. Yeah. Imagine if we bring that smartness in African languages, like just an AI that would talk in African languages, but like a very expertise, very expertise in their domain. Imagine if my grandfather could from now on, take a picture of the crops and ask AI in his language, why is my plants are dying? How can I double my revenue? What about this soil? Is it better? Can I ground here apples or stuff like that in African soil and stuff like that? Diversifying the crops, or maybe for the kids that spend a lot of time in their study curriculum, it could be reduced. I think we
will
will
late. We waste a lot of time.
Absolutely, we will end up having like kids that we will done with their PhD at age 15 or 16. They will be smarter, because they will be assisted by AI. But knowledge has never been this accessible. This easy way to get knowledge, to access to world expert knowledge, right? It will be much easier for them. Like I imagine it. Like we want to democratize AI, make it really, really easy, and easy to access, so everyone can use in their daily lives. Have their use cases and solve their real world problems. I think the curriculum for study will be definitely reviewed. We don't need to do like CE to SEM, then after going to high school, junior, then high school, to get the baccalaureate. That time could be reduced. Yeah. And even I've always had like this idea, that in countries in Africa, especially in Senegal use case, for instance, we need to be booming, for startups. Yeah. Like a startup boom, that's what we need to do, right? And today is the right time, to boom with startups. People don't need no more, to have very deep knowledge in coding to build something. They can ship their own apps and startups easily and faster, right? With Vibe coding, right? It's easy, right? Now the new coding language is not Python, it's not R, it's not Java, it's not all of those. It's not, React or Vue.js or whatever. Yeah. The new coding language is English, simply. Yeah. You talk English to AI. You can talk to AI and it will write the code, your Java code or whatever. So if we are able to make AI talk Wolof, some people that even are illiterate can come and talk to AI. Hey, dama bëgg defar application boo xam ni ba pour maybe pour contrôler samay vente, li may jaay, sama xaalis bi xaw ma fu muy jaar, il faut que ma am sama application comptabilité. Yeah. Automatically, within seconds, they have like an app shipped, in their own language, and in the web design as well, it has a great impact, Yeah, sure. In the apps that it will build, you will have like Wolof integrated and more available, and translation will be much easier. We will be in a world where, finally, Cheikh Anta Diop's dreams will come true. Yeah. Where, our African languages will have very much value, and we will not die anymore. They will survive and they will remain, So that's really a challenge, and we will get there, right? Yeah. It's just a matter of trusting in a vision, where maybe in the beginning, you might be like few to believe in it, but you keep pushing, you keep working hard on it, and you get there.
I'm excited about that. And for many reasons, like truly I am, because, even aside from the knowledge, democratization, and access, I think there is this plethora of good ideas, that people have. And a lot of people have these ideas, but it cannot necessarily convey these ideas or transform them into like solution because they're illiterate. The bricklayer maybe have better ideas of building better houses than the guy that went to insurance school for that. Yeah. That guy can translate that idea, and today we have shortened the path from idea to execution. Yeah. Also, there is these people that are not necessarily illiterate, but they just want to build a solution that have like domain expertise in something. Absolutely, yeah. Let's say today I want to build a tool, but my audience is the people that are illiterate. Today, for most of software, we cannot serve them. Yeah. Which is just the truth. Yes. Because people cannot necessarily read and interact, with these new interactions. So I'm really excited about this future. And I think you will get there. And, even at the continent at large, we have many more people, working around language as a whole, not necessarily like in the specific niche of OneNine. We have like on the research part, whether it's like companies like Bamtu, or whether it's Masehere like in Uganda. All of these guys. How do you see that ecosystem? Do you see it more like competition, or do OneNine approaches as collaboration? Like, what's the...
Yeah, actually, like the core of OneNine. Yeah. We are not training models.
Yeah.
We're not training models.
Yeah.
We just supply data.
That's a good motto, actually. That's really good.
We don't train models.
Yeah.
We supply them.
Yeah.
So we have data. Actually, this is making me laugh.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are supplying data to AI companies so they can train models.
Yeah.
So we see them bound to La Africa Mobile and all of those, you know, Andakia and all of those people doing great work, right?
Yeah.
We want to supply them the data
Yeah.
so they can train their models. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, we are more of a supplier rather than a, you know, competitor.
And that's great. That's a good positioning. I mean, it just shows that you know exactly. You know.
Scale AI is our competitor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Scale AI. I think you're better than them. But that's my bias, though. One last question. I think it'll be like more about. Earlier we were talking about, you know, we have this really, because today, me personally, like in my work and every day, we are looking for builders. You know, people that can build. You know.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of our continent that are abroad, which is just the truth, you know, and for many reasons. And we want, you know, that beyond the capital, you know, also need the knowledge capital, you know, these people, you know, that whatever, you know, that their brilliance, you know, the intelligentsia that they have, you know, to be able to be served, you know, to local problems and solve them. Today, as one of these people, you know, building your solution, you know, outside of Africa for the continent, you know, employing people in the continent, what would be your advice to these other people that are looking to build? You know, because like even naturally, like I have a lot of friends, you know, that this studies there. Yeah, man, I want to come back. I'm trying to build this startup. Do you think I can launch in Senegal? Like that's something that I hear a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And most of the time, I don't necessarily know what to tell to them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I know.
What would be your advice to these people?
Just get started. That's the thing. Don't wait. You know, nobody is expecting you to build like a perfect product. Yeah. You know, no one. You know, if you look at Airbnb, I don't know, Facebook, all these apps, you know, if you saw the first product, or maybe even the iPhone, you know, the very first version of the Macintosh.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, you would be like, what's this rubbish, or what it is, right? But today they are where they are, right? So no one is expecting you to build a perfect product or launch a perfect MVP. So even though launching MVP has become much more easier, right? You can do it like in a day. Within a day, you can ship like your MVP, you know, if you know the right tools and with AI. But yeah, first of all, I think I would advise people to just not build something because they want to be rich. Yeah. To just not start building something, you know, spending time in building something no one will use. Yeah. They should always start with the customers, like who they are serving, what problem they are solving. Yeah. You know, you always start with a problem. There is a problem. I've identified a lot of people are, you know, suffering because of this. They experience this problem, and you come with your solution. My solution will serve this problem. It will solve the problem of these people. You know, who are you solving the problems to? Yeah. If it is a B2B or a B2C, whatever, understand the problem and understand who are your customers and how you are serving them. Then you start building. Yeah. Like, don't ne pas mettre charrue avant les bœufs. That's the thing, right? Don't start building a product
until you understand deeply.
Yes, because you would be only disappointed, right? Because you would spend like 6 months in building something. You put a lot of effort, put a lot of money, investment and everything and time. And at the end, you realize that no one wants your product.
You have a solution looking for problems.
Exactly. Yeah. So you really need to focus, understand your problem you're solving, bring a solution, right? That solves the problem and the product. Don't spend too much time in the features or the product. It doesn't really matter to investors. When you're pitching, a lot, I did it a lot.
I mean, you want to pitch, so I you're right there to give advice on pitching. So.
I'm not the best at giving any advice, but
I mean, right now you
know, a lot of, and I did that mistake earlier, but I suffered a lot. You know, even sometimes when I was alone, I'm a man, but I cry inside me. You know what I mean? Because it's so painful that you spend a lot of time in building something, when you get rejected. It's not like you yourself just got rejected, but it's just like at the same time they invalidate your idea.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you're not very good at thinking, or you're not so smart, or, where some other people can come with a very simple solution and they get accepted. So it's not about building something amazing. You use React here, your front end, and the back end is, they don't care. When you are pitching to an investor, don't focus on showing them the features in your product. They don't care. What they're looking for is business. Yeah. And that I understood it later. Yeah, I finally understood it, but they're looking for your numbers. They're looking for, okay, what problem are you solving? What's the solution? How you are solving it? Who are your customers? And how are you making money? That's what the investor wants to know. And then maybe they can look at the product, because they're not technical. Yeah. If you come to an investor and say, oh yeah, this has React, and then in the backend here, I'm using this and this and that. It's like Chinese to them. Yeah. They don't get that. They don't really care about the technicalities. What they want is money. You're asking their money. Yeah. Like, they're putting their money. So you need to tell them, like, in 5 years, what they get, or in 10 years, or whatever, what they get. So that's what I would advise to, maybe I won't advise it to anyone, but to myself in the past. Yeah. That's what I would say, But I really want to take this moment to ask, maybe like governments or African governments, especially in Senegal, since it's my country, especially with this new deal technology revolution and stuff like that. I do believe that we could build that Senegal Valley in Senegal, right? The African Silicon Valley could be in Senegal. And they can do it, if they enable more young people, if they went to high schools, and set up like a program called startup program. They can connect with you guys, like Dhaka Network Angels, all those angels and VCs and everyone. They can come together, like build a program, study program from high school just for startup and entrepreneurship. They teach your kids how to pitch, how to come up with a problem, a solution, build a product, what matters to investors, how to pitch live, how to shorten all of that, There are a lot of stuff. If I knew it when I was at high school, probably I wouldn't be even doing a PhD. I don't care about a PhD. It's not making me money. It's just like, maybe those kids, after high school, they don't need to go to university because they would be already busy with building their company. They would be already $1 billion. Come on, look at the people that are building their unicorns in the US. Those people, all of them dropped from university. They drop out from high school or from uni, to build their own stuff. Maybe it's a hype, maybe also I try to do something, maybe I'll try to drop from school just to say later on, in the future, oh yeah, I dropped from this school to build. But
that's a great answer. So government, create the infrastructure to enable more people to build. For the builders, it was a good problem and solve it. Yeah. And for the one pitching, especially, I literally saw Doudou last week. Came on stage for a pitch. His slide didn't work. And he ended up winning. So I would believe his advice. What are your last words?
Thank you,
our audience, man.
Oh, yeah, I would like first to thank you, Moustapha, for this opportunity to talk. And, it was very good and rich, to make people understand, what we are building, because I think that's the most important thing, I've noticed, right, that, people, some people, they spend time building some great stuff and they might be amazing, right? But they stay in their corner. No one knows about them. And they expect people like the investor or someone to come to them and find them. No, make yourself known. Talk to people, get connected to people, make them understand what problem you're solving. And maybe you will have someone that will be interested in what you're doing. And from door to door, from ear to ear, this is how you get to be known, right? So that's the thing. I also understood something. One of the investors actually taught me, and my pitch deck didn't work. I was like, oh, my deck didn't work. And the guy taught me something very important. We don't invest in decks, we invest in people.
Yeah,
That was so powerful. Like when I heard that, I was like, oh, okay, I got it now. I understood, the thing. And it was really important. I would like also to thank and be very grateful to Dakar Network Angels and all the partners, right? Partech and Summer Ventures, all of those people that were involved in the Big Angel Days event. It was very good, to bring in, startup founders, 25 selected from 100, joining from all countries in Africa, to pitch in Dakar. It was amazing, and it was really good to be representing Senegal with OneNine and winning for Senegal in the AI category. So that was a very strong and a big pleasure, and also got a lot of opportunity. Yeah. Like literally what I could have done in 6 months, or I just did it in 2 days. Like keep pitching people, pitch, just talk, have your pitch, understand, it's much more easy when you understand your problem. You don't need a deck. You don't need to read. You know what you're talking about, and that's what I did with you. We only pitched, here, OneNine. So, yeah, that's it. We got like investment opportunities, right? We are talking to some people, and you can see that what we are solving is really important, because you're getting attention, and that's good, and yeah, we don't take it for granted. So we will keep working harder. We'll do our best, to get where we are. And yeah, thank you also very much to Amzo, for enabling this podcast. Amzo, you are amazing. Thank you very much for for inviting us here. So yeah,
thank you, man.
Looking much forward.
I think it's here. That's a really packed conversation.
Yeah,
and I think there's a lot of great insight from it. And I'm really glad that we were able to do it.
Tk you, sir.
And I'm really excited to see what OneNine will do in 5 years, because I really think you guys are building something amazing.
Thank you very much.
So thank you very much.
I'll leave you with one last question.
Yeah.
What does OneNine stand for?
Actually, I think you are better explaining it, because last time I heard you explaining it, the OneNine.
Yeah.
So I just let you explain it to people.
All right. Okay. So I'm asking you a question. Okay. OneNine, if 1 is the first letter of the alphabet, what's the 9th letter of the alphabet? So I'm giving you a question, so try to answer it. Yeah. I won't tell you, it would be so easy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.